Hey everyone, okay, so this is hopefully the last time on this. This is going to be my November wrap-up part 2 and Vlogmas day 2, which, is kind of lying a little because it's Vlogmas day 4, but you guys are just going to see like 3 videos today, or 2 today and 2 tomorrow. So anyway, this is going to be the rest of my November wrap-up. And I just have about 3.5 books to talk about. So the first one I'll talk about is one that I can't show you because it was an Audible book, an audiobook from Audible, and this was their kind of new exclusive production of Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen. I don't remember who the adapter was, but I will look up her name because I'm 99% sure it was a woman and put her name in the description. But I had 2 reasons for really wanting to listen to this. First is Northanger Abbey is my second favorite Austen, so any kind of new adaptation of it I am always eager for. And then also, the cast was unbelievably amazing on this one. Emma Thompson played the narrator / Jane Austen as the narrator, as she is listed in the description. And then the 2 leads, Catherine Morland and Henry Tilney, were played by Ella Purnell, who I think is from Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, at least that I've seen her in. I'm sure she's from a bunch of other stuff, but I think that's what I remember seeing her in. And then Jeremy Irvine as Henry Tilney. And I've seen him in a bunch, all of which I'm blanking on at the moment, so, you know, that's just how it goes. And the other kind of 3 sort of lesser main characters, but I still consider them main characters, like, they're not the leads, but they're still main, in my opinion, are the Thorpes. John Thorpe was played by Douglas Booth, who I completely love. I think he is cute and a really good actor, but unfortunately he was playing my least favorite character in this whole... Okay, there's another character who I might hate just as much, but anyway, I was worried when I found out that an actor that I love so much was playing a character that I completely hated, but he did an amazing job of making me hate John more than ever, so I was like, that's great. So yeah, John Thorpe was played by Douglas Booth, and then Isabella Thorpe was played by Lily Cole. If I've seen Lily Cole in anything, I don't remember what it was at all, but she did a wonderful job. I find Isabella to be pretentious and selfish and mean and just conniving and phony, and I really don't like her, and Lily Cole got that perfect, so I thought that was great. Like, the voice that she used was just perfect. And then my favorite casting, or probably equal with Emma Thompson, was Eleanor Tomlinson played Eleanor Tilney, and Eleanor Tilney is one of my favorite Austen women, and Eleanor Tomlinson is one of my favorite actresses of the moment. So I thought that was perfect, and I thought it was great that she was not only playing a character who has her same first name that is also spelled the same way, but also a character who has her same initials. I just thought, like, I found that very entertaining for some reason. And also I thought this was really cool because this was actually the second time that Eleanor Tomlinson has played an Austen sibling. She played Georgiana Darcy in Death Comes to Pemberley by P.D. James. So I thought that was great. And, you know, hearing one of my favorite actresses completely do one of my favorite characters justice was just... that was great. Because I really love Eleanor. I want to do... at some point I want to do a video of, like, talking about my favorite kind of Austen women who aren't the heroines, and probably do a video talking about my favorite heroines as well, but maybe make that separate. Anyway, I'm rambling at this point. So yeah, the casting was amazing. I thought the adaptation was brilliant. I thought the adapter did a great job of leaving in all of the really important plot points and descriptions and quotes without making it, or I should say, while still kind of condensing it a little bit, because it's definitely shorter than the audiobook for the actual novel, but not drastically so. I would say it's maybe, I don't know, like an hour and a half or 2 hours shorter than the actual novel. But I felt like everything of major importance was still kept in, as well as some of the best quotes, including my favorite, like the last paragraph of that book is probably one of my favorites ever, but I think it might be my favorite ending of Austen, at least like paragraph-wise, like description-wise, I feel like it's one of my favorites. So the fact that they left that in, I was very happy with. And yeah, I just, 5 out of 5, completely loved it, and I'm sorry that I've spent 6 minutes talking about it, but I loved it that much. Okay, now I'm going to talk about a couple things a little bit less. First, I'm just kind of quickly going to mention Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie, and the reason I'm quickly mentioning this is because I want another one of my Vlogmas videos to be a review of this. And then there's the naked hardback, which I think is beautiful. This is the Folio Society edition. And I also did a kind of haul of this, like a haul / show and tell of this in a different video before. And I'm so sorry if you guys can hear the planes. There's unfortunately nothing I can do about that. But anyway, just to talk about this really quickly, without kind of going into a lot of detail. I buddy read this with Kate Howe and Katie from Books and Things, and we were buddy reading this together because we all wanted to see the Kenneth Branagh film that was coming out / is already out now, and I think we all really, really loved the book, and then we all enjoyed the Kenneth Branagh adaptation, but not as much, maybe, I want to say not as much as we were hoping, but basically there were some very weird changes in that adaptation that I've never seen, and I was like, I don't understand why. But the story itself, I completely loved. I love all the characters. I love that there are so many characters, but that they're each so distinctive. I thought they were, yeah, I just basically thought that they were each very distinctive, which was awesome for there being so many. And then Poirot, I'm so sorry about the planes. Hang on. Gosh, I hate planes. Like, I know that they're here to keep me safe. I know that, but at least these planes, because they're military planes, but that's why they're so loud and obnoxious, and anyway, so, yeah, I just really love all these characters. I love, Poirot. I love the way that Poirot thinks, and his insights into human nature that are what allow him, including the evidence, like factoring human nature into the evidence. I love it that that's how he solves cases. And this audiobook that I listened to was narrated by Kenneth Branagh, and I thought he did a good job. I would have vastly preferred the David Suchet audiobook, but that was, there was a very long line for that one. So then I listened to samples of the Kenneth Branagh audio versus the Dan Stevens audio, and even though I love Dan Stevens' narration of And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie, I just felt like since Kenneth Branagh was going to be Poirot in the film, it would be better if I listened to him as Poirot in this audiobook. So yeah, that was great. I thought that was pretty well done, even though, again, I would have wished for the David Suchet one. But yeah, story overall, definitely 5 out of 5 stars. And oh, one thing that I forgot to say nearly is that this has one of the most brilliant endings that I have ever read. I find it incredible. So yeah, I really love this book. So that was Murder on the Orient Express, and I will do a more spoilery review in a different Vlogmas video, and then I might even do another Vlogmas video comparing the book to the film adaptations, and then also the 2 film adaptations that I've seen to each other, because I've seen the Kenneth Branagh one and the David Suchet one, which I liked the David Suchet one a lot better. But anyway, that was that one, 5 out of 5 stars. And then the last book that I have to talk about in any sort of detail is School for Good and Evil by Soman Chainani. I picked this up maybe like 2 years ago, and I've basically been avoiding it a little. Like, I was very excited when I bought it, but I've basically been avoiding it for a while because everybody that I know who's read this completely raves about it, and that was worrying me because I was worried that the hype was going to be more than I was worried that the hype was going to ruin my love of the book, like that I wouldn't find it as good as the hype indicated. I am so happy that, at least for me, I was completely wrong. I loved this book so much. It was one of those books where I was listening to the audiobook, which I very highly recommend because I think it's narrated by a woman named Polly Lee, and she did a fantastic job. But I was listening to it, and then when I had a minute to sit, I was following along in the physical copy, which I very highly recommend because the illustrations in here are beautiful. Just, here's an example based on the cover, and then, let me find a really good illustration in here. They do, like, beginning of chapter illustrations. Okay, there's a really pretty one that's kind of Christmassy. And then there was a very beautiful one. Sorry, I'm taking a minute. Okay, I can't find it, but anyway, here's another really cool one. But yeah, so the illustrations were beautiful as well, and the story was just, like, I could not put this down. It was amazing. I loved the writing, I loved the world building, I loved the characters, I love how involved I was in the plot. Like, it left me on the edge of my seat at so many points. And yeah, so I'm trying to figure out, yeah, I've got time to read you guys the back. Okay, so it says, this year, best friends Sophie and Agatha are about to discover where all the lost children go, the fabled school for good and evil, where ordinary boys and girls are trained to be fairy tale heroes and villains. As the most beautiful girl in Gavaldon, Sophie has dreamed of being kidnapped into an enchanted world her whole life. With her pink dresses, glass slippers, and devotion to good deeds, she knows she'll earn top marks at the school for good and graduate a storybook princess. Meanwhile, Agatha, with her shapeless black frocks, wicked pet cat, and dislike of nearly everyone, seems a natural fit for the school for evil. But when the two girls are swept into the endless woods, they find their fortunes reversed, and they'll quickly find that the only way out of a fairy tale is to live through it. So, basically, Agatha gets put into the school for good, and Sophie gets put into the school for evil, and they're both like, why are we here? But it was just so cool, and some of the plot twists were incredibly insane, especially the ending. Like, I was like, what is happening here? Wow. It just seemed kind of crazy, and I do want to do a more spoilery review of this book, just to, kind of talk about the things that I loved, things that I didn't like so much, And then I will do a full review of the whole series once I finally read all of those, because there's 4 books. I think it's a quartet. But anyway, I loved this so much that I already have the second book on audiobook, and I want to get the physical copy from Barnes & Noble at some point. So yes, 5 out of 5 stars. This was amazing. And then real quick, I'm just reading Red Herring Without Mustard right now, and I started this in November, so I figured I should talk about it here, but I'm about a third of the way through and highly enjoying it. So I'll talk about this more in my December wrap-up. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. I hope this uploads because it's 16 minutes long, but anyway, thanks for watching, and let me know what you think of any of the books that I've talked about. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.